Hey folks, it's Tom, your Frugal Prepper. I want to go over this wiring diagram from the Pontiac G6 that I worked on the other day for the wiper control motors. And I actually found that this dark green wire right here was bad, right? And I had to replace it. But I want to go over how this works because I didn't really get to go over it that good in the video. And I think it's kind of important to be able to understand this kind of stuff. I like to teach people things that I know. And if you're interested in learning how this diagram works and how to read diagrams in general, I think this will be a great video. If you're just looking for a quick fix to fix your wipers, I suggest you go find somebody that knows how to read a diagram, that can troubleshoot it and tell you what, if any, parts that you need, rather than spending a bunch of money on parts and then having to take it somewhere and spend a bunch of money to have somebody troubleshoot it. But you might get lucky. It might be a bad wiper motor. You never know. Basically, I had high-speed operation of the wipers and no low-speed or intermittent operation of the wipers. And so I want to just go through this diagram the way I had to go through it to figure out how this thing works, right? So you have this fuse right here. This provides power. It's going to also provide power over here. This is actually the same switch, right? Just different outputs to the same switch, right? It does both of these at the same time, right? So really, you're on low, and this goes to low, and you can see that this low goes nowhere. All right, but this low goes somewhere. So where does this low go? We'll switch to blue here. Goes down through the 1780 ohm resistor and follows this back up to the BCM. That provides a very specific voltage. It's like 2.7 volts or something to the BCM, and it knows, oh, he wants low speed operation. So it says, okay, low speed operation. We are going to take and energize this dark green wire. All right, and this dark green wire connects to this relay right here, and it energizes that relay. That's providing power, right? And the other side of that goes right over here to this ground. All right. So that energizes that relay. That's an electromagnet that pulls that switch shut. Pulls the switch in the opposite direction. So when you have a relay that shows like this, that's its state when it's unenergized. When it goes energized, it goes, oh, hang on. It goes shut. All right. Let me move this back up so it's lined up right. Okay. And so that works. Now what happens there? So you have this other 25 amp fuse. It's providing power there. As soon as this relay is energized, it closes and it allows that power to come over here to this relay, which is not energized. So it's in its natural state. It comes down here, energizes that dark green low speed signal to the wiper motor. Okay. Now, the wiper motor runs one time. Right? This goes hot. It runs at one time. And when it gets done with that one time, this park signal right here. Let me get to this. Okay. The park signal right here grounds out. That pulls this down to ground, and the body control module knows, oh, it's parked. Now, if it's just on low speed, it's going to go right away again, right? It's going to de-energize this for a minute, and then it's going to re-energize it in just a split second later. It'll re-energize that sucker. Oh, man. It re-energized that sucker. And does its thing all over again. Right? Because it energizes that coil. in that relay. Now you're saying, what is this thing right here? What is this thing? It says wiper diode. What's a diode? Well, a diode basically lets you pass current in one direction but not another. So you have this triangle in the diode. It's not a very good triangle, but it's a triangle, right? And you have a line. So the way that triangle's pointing, think of that as an arrow, right? It's pointing towards the line. That's the way current can flow. Current can go this way through the diode. It cannot go that way. Okay? So that's how that diode works. Okay. And that's how your low speed works. It runs a cycle, it pulses the park, that green pulses off and on, reruns the cycle, pulses, like that. So when you're in intermittent, this happens the exact same way, except right here you're in intermittent. And so hang on. Your voltage is coming down here. It's going to the intermittent. It also comes over here to the intermittent, which goes nowhere. Okay? And this depends on where your intermittent's selected, but we'll say it's selected, somewhere in here. So now it's going to add 1.4K, 1.02K, 750 ohms to the 1780 ohms. And this is going to come to an even lower voltage that the BCM is going to read. So now it's going to know in between those park signals, it needs to wait, right? And so it's going to see that it's parked. It's going to wait however long that delay is for, right? And then it's going to kind of intermittently fire this relay off, right? And so that's how the intermittent works. How does the high speed work? This is where things get a little bit more fun. I'm just going to erase all this and we're going to do it all over again, right? Okay. So how does the high speed work? High speed energizes this. Right? Now it's to high. Oh. It also comes over to this switch, and that goes to high, right? Well, what happens here? Well, the computer, honestly, the body control module doesn't know the difference between low and high because they both connect here, and they both go through the same 1780 ohms, right? And so it's going to, again, re-energize this green wire right here. Going to energize that relay, right? That relay still connected to the ground through this splice point, right? So that relay energizes. As that energizes, it gets power from right here. It comes in here, and now that relay's energized, so that comes over here. It's coming down here. And it energizes the low-speed circuit, essentially. Except, it doesn't. Okay, what really happens is at the same exact time that's going... Oh, hang on, I had the wrong thing selected. At the same exact time, you have high over here, and that comes around here and energizes this wire. All right, and that can flow through the relay. We're going to get in, or that the relay, the diode. We're going to get into that in a minute. But it also energizes this relay. When it energizes that relay, it now disconnects the power. So you would have power coming through from this circuit. And this would be closed, right? And so that would provide power over to here. But now this relay is energized, so it now sends its power down here to the high-speed part of that motor, right? And you'd be like, but it's going to see that it parks right here when it gets back. And that's going to cause this to pulse. It'll cause that to start pulsing off and on, you know? It won't just stay there. But you don't care. Because although this blue current cannot go this way, right? It can't go that way. The red current can. This red current can go this way. Well, let me get the red current can go all the way through here, and it keeps that relay energized, which keeps that current coming into there. Okay? So that's how that works. And it doesn't matter how often it sees a park signal, whatever, when it's on high speed. None of this matters, right? None of this park and stuff matters, because it is always going to get power from here. Okay? So that's why the diode's in there, because it stops it from not being able to get power. Well, I think my battery is about to die, and that's all I got. If you have any questions about that, let me know down below, and I'll either respond to them if I can, or I'll do another video and answer them questions. If you have any general wiring diagram questions, relay questions, diode questions, switch questions, whatever, just let me know, and I will go over it the best I can. I like questions that I don't necessarily know the answer to, because I got to go look them up and do some learning. And that helps me to learn more. So feel free to ask away. And tell me below if you like seeing videos like this that kind of explain how things work on cars and how you troubleshoot them. And I'll put a link to the video where I did troubleshoot this, and you can kind of see what my steps were. That's all I got. It's Tom, your Frugal Prepper. Live happy, live free, live frugal, and fix lots of stuff.